Hey, what's up YouTube? This is the Mermail Master coming at you with Team Time Rider's YouTube channel. Today I'm showcasing Team Time Rider Fred's Genex Deck Profile because he couldn't be here to do it himself. So Genex are an archetype that focus on synchro summoning, and the deck is designed to deal with some of the inherent weaknesses that come with some of the Genex monsters. They're basically all focused around this one guy here, Genex Controller, and you have monsters that use him as synchro material, as well as monsters that rely on him to be on the field to get certain effects off. So I'm going to get started on the deck profile and explain some of my choices along the way. So to start off, it would not be a Genex deck without Genex Controller. The reason I have him, Fred has him here at 1 is because he is just a normal monster. Very tough to search, and you have to normal summon him at specific times. So, that's a little bit unfortunate, but there are better monsters in the deck that can deal with the inherent troubles that come with that. Next, we have 3 copies here of Genex Furnace. And Genex Furnace effect is that whenever Genex Controller is on the field, you can normal summon him without tributing. And he's a 2000 beater, so that's pretty good. Really cool artwork as well. 3 copy of Genex Gaia. Genex Gaia's effect is that when he would be destroyed by battle or a card effect, you can destroy 1 Genex controller on your side of the field instead, and he gets protected, so it can be a good kind of wall for your monsters. Three copy of Genex Worker, and this guy is great for getting quickly Genex monsters on the field, especially ones like Furnace who have a higher level. You just summon this to the field and then tribute it to special summon a Genex monster straight from your hand. So very good to get normally unsummonable monsters out on the field. Next, Fred is going to be running 3 copies of the Genex Ally Volcanon. Genex Ally Volcanon's effect is allowing you to send a face-up fire Genex monster you control to the graveyard, and then select a monster your opponent controls and basically do kind of like a Volcasaurus effect. Destroy it and inflict damage equal to its level times 400, which can actually give you a lot of damage, and you can still get that direct attack afterward. So, you tribute a Furnace and be able to get those effects off. Next for the deck, we have 3 copy of Genex Recycle. Really good card. Just a tuner. His level is a little bit, leaves a little bit to be desired here. We wish he was a higher level, but you can't really complain. You select a Genex monster in your graveyard, and this card's name becomes that. So for instance, if you have Genex Controller in your graveyard, you can activate his effect, kind of like a Hero Mask or something like that, and summon Genex Recycled, and his name becomes Genex Controller. 2 Genex Searcher. This is basically one of the battle destroyers, kind of like Mystic Tomato and stuff. When you destroy it by battle, special summon Genex monster from your deck that has 1500 or less attack. Then he has 2 copy of Genex Doctor in the deck. Genex Doctor's effect allows you to tribute Genex Controller on your side of the field and destroy 1 card on the field. So good card for getting rid of problem threats. 2 Genex Turbine. All Genex monsters on the field gain 400 attack from this guy, and so that can actually get monsters up to big attack power. So if you have like Genex Controller on the field, that becomes 1800, and then if you summon a Furnace along with that, Furnace just becomes a 2400 beat stick on a field that you got for practically no cost. So really nice card right there. I'll run 1 Genex Spare is what Fred runs. Once per turn, if you control another Genex monster, you can make his name Genex Controller. So for all those synchro monsters that have Genex Controllers as their material, that Genex Spare is very good. Genex Ally Remote. once per turn as his similar effect. Make a face-up tuner monster on the field's named Genex controller. And he's also a tuner himself. Genex Ally Changer changes the attribute of one face-up monster on the field. So if you need to activate specific effects for monsters that require specific attributes, you can do that. Change the attribute of the monster. Genex Power Planner. When it's normal summon, you're allowed to fetch one level 3 Genex effect monster from your deck to your hand. Very, very good card. Second booster. The reason Fred's got this in here is for those OTK plays when you contribute this card to have an attack position monster that you control gain 1500 attack power. Good card. Genex Ally Solid, same deal. You send a water Genex monster to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. So you use Changer's effect to change anything on the field to water, and then Genex Ally Solid can send it to graveyard and destroy 2 cards on the field, or draw 2 cards. Now getting into the bigger Genex monster, 1 copy of Genex Army. When it's tribute summoned by tributing a Genex monster, you get to destroy 1 card your opponent controls. It's not in targeting as well, so you just pop the card, and 2300 beat stick, and if you have a Genex Turbine on the field, big points for that. But a thing of note though is that he has to be tribute summoned, so you cannot use your Genex Worker in order to get him onto the field. The big boss of the deck, Genex Solar. If you normal summon it by tributing a Genex monster, you can inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent each time a face-up Genex you control is sent to the graveyard. This one you can summon with Worker because there's no real summoning requirement to get his effect off. But you just summon him with Worker, and then every time a Genex is sent to the graveyard, 500 points of damage is inflicted. And finally, for the monsters finished up, is 1 copy of Genex Neutron. This is in here for searching out your Genex controller or pretty much any tuner in the deck that you can find. Now, moving on to the spells and traps that Fred plays. Fred runs 1 copy of Machine Assembly Line to allow him to special summon monsters from your graveyard whenever things are destroyed. Pretty good card, and boosts up machine type monster on the field by 200 attack. When summoning from the graveyard, it's good to have 1 Temple of the Sun so that face-up monsters special summoned for the graveyard gain that 300 attack power. And then for the final spell, we have Double Summon at 1. I was thinking about jumping this up to 2 copies because most of the Genex monsters in your deck rely entirely upon getting their summons off. So, you have to have Genex Controller and other Genex monsters. So if you have your double summon, you can do your Genex Controller and then double summon to normal summon like a Genex Gaia or a Genex Furnace or something like that, and just get 2 monsters for the price of 1 summon. There's not really too much special summoning that happens in this deck, so double summon can be a very good card to have. For the traps, Treaty on Uniform Nomenclature. If you have 2 or 3 monsters of the same name, like your Genex controllers or something like that, you can destroy 1 or all spell and trap cards your opponent controls. He plays 1 copy of Damage Vaccine Omega Max to reduce the damage that he takes from battle or by a card effect. And finally, 1 copy of the Crevice into a Different Dimension to banish some more stuff from the opponent's graveyard of specific attributes. And now, with that, moving on to the extra deck, we are going to start things out with 1 copy of Genex, the level 6 monster of the deck. If you control a face-up Genex level 4 lower Genex monster, you can switch the original attack and defense of this card until the end phase, for as long as you control a face-up level 4 or lower Genex monster. So it allows you to get that 2800 beater power straight onto the field, and very good card to have in the deck. Why run Goyo Guardian when you can run Genex and work for that 2800 attack? And we got Hydra Genex. When it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you gain life points equal to the attack power of that monster. So another decent synchro monster that requires Genex controller. Then we have one copy of Windmill Genex, which I think is the best one of the deck. It gains 300 attack for each face down spell and trap, and then you can send one card from your hand to your graveyard to have it destroy the spell or trap face down on the field. That's a level 7, and then for the 2 level 8s of the deck, 2 copy of Thermal Genex. It gains 200 attack for each fire monster in your graveyard, and then if you destroy an opponent's monster by battle, you get to inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each Genex monster in your graveyard. So if you stack a bunch of furnaces and some other stuff in your graveyard, you'll be able to activate the effect and inflict even more damage to your opponent. So that's Thermal Genex, good level 8 monster for the deck requiring Genex controller. And that's going to be it for Team Time Rider Fred's Genex deck. If you like the content that you see here, please remember to like, comment, rate, and subscribe. And once again, big shout outs to that for the Genex Deck Profile. And this is the Mermail Master, out. Peace.